Discover the most famous people who died on November 18. The list includes people like Niels Bohr, Marcel Proust, Chester A. Arthur, James Coburn, Man Ray. Famous personalities featured on this list include political leaders, physicists, philosophers, and presidents, and from other domains of life. This list includes people from United States, Germany, Denmark, and India, and many more countries. First of all, we will talk about number 1, Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr was born on October 7, 1885 and died in 1962 in Denmark. Nobel Prize winning Danish physicist Niels Bohr is remembered for his work on the atomic structures and quantum theory. He laid down the Bohr model of the atom and established the Niels Bohr Institute. The element bohrium has been named after him. He was also part of the British nuclear project. Number 2, James Coburn. James Coburn was born on August 31, 1928 and died in 2002 in Nebraska, United States. James Coburn was an American actor who played the quintessential tough guy roles in action and Western films throughout the late 1960s and early 1970s. He was characterized by his lanky physique and taut grin. A martial arts student, Coburn was a close friend of Bruce Lee. He was one of the pallbearers at Bruce Lee funeral in 1973. Number 3, Chester Arthur. Born on October 5, 1829 and died in 1886 in United States, Vermont. Chester A. Arthur became the 21st President of the U.S. in 1881 after the assassinations of President James Garfield and served till 1885. Arthur represented Elizabeth Jennings Graham in the 1854 case against segregations in the streetcar. He signed the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act and rebuilt the U.S. Navy. Number 4, Jonah Lomu. Born on May 12, 1975 and died in 2015 in Auckland, New Zealand. Jonah Lomu was a New Zealand rugby player whose dominance on the field had a huge impact in the game. Considered the first global superstar of rugby, Jonah Lomu proved to be a crowd puller. In 2007, he was inducted into the International Rugby Hall of Fame. In 2011, he was inducted into the IRB Hall of Fame. Number 5, Gia Karangi. Born on January 29, 1960 and died in 1986 in Pennsylvania, US. A model who was active during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Gia Karangi was considered by many to be one of the first supermodels. She was featured on the covers of multiple fashion magazines including editions of Vogue and compilations. She also worked with various famous designers. She died of AIDS at the young age of 26. Number 6, Malcolm Young. Born on January 6, 1953 and died in 2017, Glasgow, Scotland. Malcolm Young was an Australian musician. He is credited with co-founding the popular rock band AC/DC. He is also credited with popularizing the band and was described by many as the leader and the driving force of the band. Widely regarded as one of the best rhythm guitarists ever, Young was a leading exponent of rhythm guitar in rock music. Number 7, Cab Calloway. Born on December 25, 1907 and died in 1994. Jazz singer and dancer Cab Calloway was a famous vocalist of the swing era from the early 1930s to late 1940s. He led a very popular band that included musicians like Dizzy Gillespie, Jonah Jones, and Adolphus Doc Cheatham. A man of color, he became the first African American musician to sell 1 million records from a single song. Number 8. Marcel Proust. Born on July 10, 1871 and died in 1922 in France. Marcel Proust was a French novelist, essayist, and critic, best known for writing the world-renowned novel In Search of Lost Time, which was published between 1913 and 1927 in 7 parts. Many writers and critics regard him as one of the 20th century most influential and important authors. Number 9. Man Ray. Born on August 27, 1890 and died in 1976 in Philadelphia. Famous photographer, painter, and filmmaker, Man Ray was the sole American who was a significant part of both the Dada and Surrealist movements. Despite his contributions in various artist mediums, he is best remembered as a photographer who popularized solarization and roigraphs techniques. He also made films including the Surrealist classic L'Etoile de Mer and published his autobiography Self-Portrait. So dear audience, please share this video as soon as possible. Thanks a lot.